Kathy Sheehan is the mayor of Albany, New York, the capital of that state. It's also a sanctuary city, and she joins us tonight. Ms. Mayor, nice to see you.
Good to see you.
So I can't resist asking about the Disneyland video that we just showed. People here illegally blocking entry to Americans in an amusement park because they're demanding citizenship and free stuff. What country would put up with that other than ours?
Well, listen, this is a country that values free speech and the right to protest, and these are young people who feel that they were given a promise and that DACA was a way for them. These are young people who were brought over here as children, not by their choice, as a way for them to have a pathway to citizenship. And
so
this is a great country in that we allow people the freedom to express themselves.
Why would we allow foreigners? By the way, why would you want someone in your country who's not grateful to be here, who's demanding of American citizens the right to vote and get benefits? Don't you want people who are grateful to be here and want to add?
You know, every immigrant that I've ever met is grateful to be here. That doesn't mean that they're not going to stand up for their rights. And, you know, I joined thousands of people across this country in protests that happened on Saturday from people who were born and raised in this country and who've been here for generations. That is one of the hallmarks of our great society.
But they're not Americans, these people.
But they have a voice. They have a right to a voice. Just because you're not from here doesn't mean the Constitution doesn't apply to you.
If you're here illegally,
that's well settled law.
No, it's not actually. If you broke our law to get here, you don't have the rights that an American citizen have. Where do those rights come from then?
So, you know, when you are here, you have constitutionally protected rights. And I think that when we look to polarize this conversation by pointing these people who are here, brought here by their parents, without their choice, and demonizing them, we really turn the conversation to an us versus them.
Whoa, slow down. They blocked the entrance to Disneyland, okay? I didn't do that. They did that. Do they bear any responsibility for doing that?
And there are Americans who use their right to free speech to block entrances, to shut down roads, and to protest things in this country.
Do you see
and whether you were born here or you weren't born here,
it's not a matter of being born here.
You have that right.
No, it's a matter of citizenship. Citizenship is meaningful to most Americans. They think you're different if you're a citizen.
And they want to be on a path to citizenship. Okay. These are young people who are working hard and who have worked hard.
No, these are people who in the middle of a weekday were blocking Disneyland. So don't tell me they were working hard. So a new Harvard poll shows that 4 out of 5 Americans, 81% of Americans, want less legal immigration, a lot less. Where were their interests? Where are their interests in the modern Democratic Party? 4 out of 5 Americans of all political parties want less legal immigration. Are you aware of that?
Well, and I think that that's really a stunning number, and it demonstrates that we need to do a better job of communicating how important immigration is to our cities and to our country. And, you know, you look at a city like Albany, New York. We have an aging population. A lot of the growth that's happening in our city is happening because of immigration. The #1 complaint I get from employers is that they can't find people to work. And so we've got a real workforce development challenge in the city of Albany and in the capital region, and immigration is helping to fuel that workforce.
I wonder, though, I mean, so for example, I was just looking at stats provided by the Albany School District, and I think you've said before that your city's about 40% foreign-born.
No, it's about 11% foreign-born, but we have about 40 languages spoken in our schools.
40 languages, my mistake. But that's a pretty high number. So in 2017, of 8th graders in Albany schools, 0% qualified. 0%, according to your stats, qualified in math.
Well,
so that seems to me like a crisis much larger than anything you're describing.
The challenges,
where the outrage is.
The challenges in our school district existed before we had the immigration that we have now.
Right. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, I wonder why I've never heard you as outraged about that as you are about, I don't know, enforcing federal immigration law. That seems like a crisis. Would you agree that's a crisis? 0% of 8th graders?
Well, that's absolutely right, and that is why, you know, that's another whole conversation we can have about the work that we are doing to partner with our school district and to ensure that we're turning that around, and by bringing together our institutions of higher education, our business community, you know, our healthcare, so that we are addressing those issues.
Do you think that bringing in more students who don't have English as a first language helps or hurts that?
I think that when you look at what we are doing with our new new language learners, that we are having interventions that are helping them to
So it's a problem
in
that
the
you need to
schools.
solve. You just conceded it's a problem. You're trying to make the problem better. But it is a problem when you import people who don't speak English as a first language. Why would you add that burden to schools where 0% of 8th graders are proficient in math? 0%.
When you look at the challenges that exist in any school district, in any urban school district, it's incumbent upon the school district and the stakeholders in that community to ensure that we are doing what we can so that these children are successful.
But does
and we are seeing
importing
incredible success.
It doesn't. I haven't seen those. I'm sure you're seeing some success. It's really simple. I'm not arguing against all immigrants. I'm not arguing against your schools. I'm just saying there's a crisis in your schools, obviously. Does importing more immigrants make it better? And you've conceded no, it doesn't.
Don't you love it when liberals sit there and gloss over the problems they have in their city and talk about the need to allow immigrants in because we need qualified people to fill jobs? Well, what they fail to tell you is that the overwhelming majority of those people coming over the border illegally have no education, don't speak English, and they're just looking for welfare. In this area, I know there's a lot of small companies, and what they'll do is take one Mexican who is an American citizen, and he will hire for $3 to $5 an hour a crew of 10 people, and they'll do drywall work, they'll do whatever the contractor needs for an incredibly low price. As a result, drywall work in this area is just about 100% Mexican, and it's 100% illegal Mexican, with one legal Mexican getting the paycheck. But the illegal Mexicans don't mind working for $3 to $5 an hour because they're getting just about every benefit that the government has to offer to keep them in food and clothing and housing. So the combination of government assistance and some spending cash from a daily job to them is fantastic. To the business community, it's fantastic too. But to the rest of the community, what are they doing? Their children are in our schools. Teachers are having to slow down the education path in order to try to catch people up that barely speak our language so that they aren't left behind. But what we end up doing by doing that is we hold back the ones that can really excel. The dumbing down of America basically is what's taking place, all in the name of our good-hearted open arms to illegal, not legal immigrants. There's 100 different aspects that you can take. There's 100 different ways you can look at this. You can look up on the screen and see the list of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America, and notice in every one of them the Democrats are in control. And in every one of them, the citizenry that lives with that violence keeps voting for Democrats, thinking that this Democrat will be different. This Democrat will finally fix things, but they never do. But they're always passing stupid laws like no straws in restaurants, no plastic straws. They're telling you what you can drink and what you can't drink, your kids, when they want you to. They're telling you everything. They're passing all kinds of wonderful regulations that force brand new businesses to spend thousands of dollars in BS startup costs, which is nothing more than making sure that you don't open a company so that you're reliant on someone else for a job. And then the business environment is so bad that the businesses slowly leave town, and we're stuck with the poverty that's left behind. The list of those top 25 most dangerous cities run by Democrats, if you will check each and every one of them, I think there's only 2 on there that are not sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities, keep in mind, when they talk about sanctuary cities, the Democrats lie about what they're talking about. ICE, they do not go after people who do not commit crime. A lot of people have this misimpression. They do try to stop people from coming over the border and they will arrest you. But once you're out in the population, the only people that they are after is criminals. What a sanctuary city is saying is that when we arrest, convict, and put a illegal immigrant behind bars, the day he's released, we refuse to give that immigrant to ICE for deportation. So ICE then has to go through a lot of other hoops to try to find that individual after they've been released and try to arrest them and remove them from the country. It actually makes the environment more dangerous. Reason being, isn't it easier for ICE to show up at the prison on release day, pick the person up with no fear of him having a weapon or anyone around him having a weapon, and then just take and deport? So what the Democrats are really doing is working overtime to make sure that everyone in the community is in danger. There's currently a bill which I hope they will pass in Congress. I hope they'll bring it to the floor for a vote. And basically what that bill says is that any sanctuary city that releases a criminal from prison and does not turn them over to ICE will be legally responsible for anyone that is harmed. So if an illegal immigrant gets out of jail, like so many have, goes and commits a violent crime, often murder or rape, those individuals, the family of those individuals in the event of a murder, will have the right to sue the city to get some manner of recourse. Do you think the Democrats will vote for that? No way. They want the crime, they want everyone scared, and they want you voting for Democrats so that you'll continue to keep them in power. You know, it's like I've always said with the African American community, it's the new Jim Crow laws. Get your little piece of bread, get your roof, and vote Democrat. Get your bread, get your roof, and vote Democrat. Well, let's take a look at some of these fabulously run Democrat cities and how they want to push this on the entire country. You see that? Is that the way everyone should live? Is that the way your neighborhood, you want it to look like? Is that unbelievable that this can be taking place? And the media hides this. It doesn't want anyone to know that those Democrat cities are slum holes, big portions of it. All they'll ever do is show you the downtown district where there's money flowing and business taking place. They won't show you the devastation that the corruption the Democrats bring causes. It's a road to socialism. The more people you can make poor, the more people you will get them to vote for socialists, because free stuff is all they can expect. So the Democrats want to make everyone in America want free stuff. And how do they do that? Same way Obama did. Take away your job. During the Obama administration's recovery, people had to work 2 jobs at restaurants to try to make ends meet. Under the Trump administration, we're seeing manufacturing jobs restored, and some of those people that were working 2 jobs are now working 1, making way more money. Some of those people that couldn't find a job at all are finding jobs. Is socialism what you want for this country? If you do, then let's keep supporting illegal immigration, because that's exactly the road we're headed for. We're bringing in poor people that don't speak English but know how to vote Democrat. That's the only reason the liberals want them. The Democrats and the media have done everything they can to convince us that these stupid rules and stupid regulations to include illegal immigration are all in our best interest. No, they're in the best interest of people that do not have our best interest at heart. I'm going to go ahead and close with another video just to give you an idea what's going on across America. And truly it is all the way across America. Don't forget, vote. That's the only way we can keep winning.
California Mayor Elizabeth Schaaf now taking a lot of criticism for warning illegal immigrants about potential raids from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. This is heightening tension between federal and local authorities over California's sanctuary city policies, whereby illegal immigrants are protected, including illegals with a felony background. With more on the story, Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn has the latest. Hillary.
Hey, Liz. Well, the mayor not only raising the alarm for illegal immigrants, tipping them off to what she thought was going to be a massive ICE raid over the weekend, but her warnings came with tips for illegal immigrants looking to avoid ICE agents that came knocking.
Residents should know that they do not have an obligation to open their doors if an ICE official knocks. Evidence shows that immigrants commit far fewer crimes than American citizens. We will continue to dispel the ugly myth that many are perpetuating about our immigrant community.
Data from the Migration Policy Institute says that about 7% of people living in the U.S. illegally have been convicted of a crime already. 300,000 of those are estimated to be convicted felons. 11 people were arrested over the weekend, but there wasn't a massive sweep as Schaaf predicted. ICE spokesman James Schwab says those arrests are part of a routine enforcement operation they conduct on a daily basis. Schwab also saying that sanctuary city policies that encourage people to not cooperate with agents actually put everyone else in danger, saying in a statement in part, quote, while the vast majority of cities in America do not cooperate or do cooperate with ICE, others force ICE to assign additional resources to conduct at-large arrests in the community, putting officers, the general public, and the aliens at greater risk and increasing the incidence of collateral arrests. Now, the mayor saying in her emergency announcement that she thinks ICE agents use the threat of a raid as a tactic to create fear, but the mayor's own warning did trigger panic among some residents in the Bay Area. Immigration advocacy groups say their hotlines have been ringing off the hook. Liz.
Great to see you, Hillary. Thanks for coming on. The Oakland mayor's warning stirring up controversy. The father of a man killed by an illegal immigrant outraged about this. Don Rosenberg's son, Drew, was on his motorcycle in San Francisco in 2010. An illegal alien struck and killed him. He ran over his body several times in an attempt to flee the scene. Roll tape.
I do think she needs to be charged with obstruction of justice, violation of 1324 of the federal code, harboring and shielding illegal aliens from detection. She's not just protecting, that person who's not committing additional crimes. She's protecting criminals.
With me now, former ICE agent David Ward. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. Your reaction to the Oakland mayor and what this father is saying?
Yes, California, the state of anarchy. It seems to be the common thread out there. You have this mayor who thinks she's been ordained queen of a sovereign nation. She can pick and choose what law she's going to follow. So if we have a Department of Justice that'll step up to the plate and start prosecuting these politicians for doing exactly what this gentleman just mentioned. There's obstruction of justice, obstructing a criminal investigation, impeding federal immigration officers, resisting 1824, 8 U.S.C. 1324 is another one, aiding and abetting. There's a host of laws this woman could be charged with just by her mere conduct. And I don't know where she's getting this information from. She's claiming she's getting it from unofficial sources. What's she going to Facebook or Twitter to get her information and then spreading this gospel around her town, endangering our ICE agents while they're trying to do their job?
Yeah, David, this whole, just covering the story and the reporters that we've talked to about it, I mean, it's the conversation feels really distorted. I mean, what is your take on what the public is hearing from the media about these federal ICE raids? Because we're hearing and seeing the data coming in, nearly 9 out of 10 of the 212 illegal aliens rounded up 2 weeks ago in Southern California, they were previously convicted criminal felony offenders rounded up by the Obama administration. More than half were violent criminals, child sex offenders, they were arrested for assault and the like. So the level of the debate is pretty poor here, and the information, the way it's being reported, is pretty poor, right?
Okay, what's happening here? ICE is going out on known information. They know where these individuals are, and over 90% of those that are arrested are those that have previous criminal convictions or are already under ICE proceedings but absconded from bail or bond. Now, there are about 10% that are collateral arrests. When they go to a house that have felons in there, they arrested felons. There might be some other undocumented aliens that they'll pick up in the process, but 90% are criminal aliens who have attacked U.S. citizens, have created harm all across this country. Like this gentleman lost his child, but thousands of other people across the country have lost their children because of illegal aliens.
Yeah, but the
and
mayor
because
of
of
Oakland,
these sanctuary cities.
But the mayor of Oakland is saying that basically these illegal immigrants and illegal aliens being rounded up, she's portraying them as innocent.
Innocent. They have criminal convictions already. They're the ones that have been released from these prisons. Instead of being turned over to ICE, they're turned out to the street. So what does ICE have to do? They have to go to the homes or to the business to find these aliens that could have been picked up at the jail. But that's not what's happening. Politicians like this woman are allowing these aliens back on the street and endangering our citizens, just like the Kate Stiley family. This is an ongoing thing, and it needs to be stopped, and it's the sanctuary policies that are doing this.
Okay. David Ward, we love having you on, sir. Thank you so much for your service to our country. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
Now
Have a
look
great
at
night.
this YouTube.